Have you ever seen face-to-face an alien being?
Yes, I have. Absolutely.
Stephen Greer breaks silence on recent UFO sightings. They're here. The flying objects we've seen in the sky behave in ways that defy our usual understanding of technology. They glide silently, propelled by an electromagnetic force that doesn't leave a trace of heat like traditional fuels. Could this mean someone out there has been using these advanced technologies against us, undermining the very foundations of our society? Step into the shadows and uncover the chilling secrets that lie just beneath the surface of this gripping mystery. The human side of UFO technologies. In a surprising revelation, Dr. Stephen Greer shares new information about recent UFO sightings that have left people around the world puzzled. He suggests that some of these sightings might not be alien, but are actually advanced technologies made by humans that have been kept secret for decades. These claims raise big questions about the future of humanity and how we understand the universe. As Dr. Greer delves deeper into the evidence, a disturbing fact surfaces, one that could shatter our entire perception of reality. These human-made technologies are not just hidden from the public, they are being used to orchestrate an event that will change the course of human history forever. But here's where it gets even more interesting. His statements challenge what most people believe about UFOs. He says that some of the most important technologies and information in US history are being secretly controlled by a group that isn't elected and has no accountability to the president or Congress. This, he argues, goes against the very principles of democracy. Starting his career as an emergency room doctor, he has now become a leading figure in the search for extraterrestrial life. He's known as a pioneer of the disclosure movement, which seeks to reveal hidden information about UFOs. His interest in this field began when he saw his first UFO at the age of 8 in North Carolina. Driven by a deep curiosity, he has spent his career investigating alien life and the many UFO sightings that have been reported on Earth. He claims that a secret and dangerous government group is misusing alien technology for harmful purposes, which he believes threatens national security. In his book, Extraterrestrial Contact, he talks about how alien civilizations have been visiting Earth for thousands of years. He says their visits became more frequent in the 20th century, especially after the development of atomic weapons. According to him, the military has captured alien spacecraft and used the technology to create copies. He also argues that extraterrestrials have been interacting with humans for as long as we've been around, pointing to ancient cave paintings and art as proof. But there's more. He also founded the Center for the Study of Extraterrestrial Intelligence and the Advanced Research in Extraterrestrial and Technological Phenomena to promote peaceful communication with extraterrestrial beings. His interest in the unknown began in his youth, influenced by his uncle and the books he read on the subject. In 1969, an engineer who helped design the lunar module that landed on the moon had a life-changing experience a few years later in 1973. While hiking alone in the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina, he encountered something strange, a flying, disc-shaped object hovering very close to him. This wasn't just a quick sighting, he even interacted with the beings inside the craft. From that moment on, he became certain that extraterrestrial beings were real. By the year 1990, he had gone through even more strange and unexplainable events. He decided to take action by gathering people with similar experiences and interests in exploring UFOs and extraterrestrial life. This led him to create an organization called SETI, which he ran from his basement in Asheville. Their goal was to carefully investigate and document close encounters with UFOs and other mysterious events. The idea of close encounters has broken down these encounters into 3 main types. The first type involves seeing a UFO within 500 feet. The second type includes cases backed up by physical evidence like radar detection or changes in the environment. The third type is when someone has a direct encounter with extraterrestrial beings. People have described these beings as everything from small gray figures to large winged creatures, and even humans that looked like certain celebrities. A fourth type involves people being taken aboard alien ships either by choice or against their will. But this wasn't the end of the story. SETI added another type of encounter called fifth type, which involves humans trying to communicate with extraterrestrial craft on purpose. They use things like lights, sounds, and focused thoughts to reach out to nearby UFOs. Instead of just waiting to see something, SETI teams work with other groups around the world to find areas where UFO activity happens often. These spots, known as windows, have frequent sightings, and SETI sends teams there quickly to investigate. Many of these team members have to drop everything and leave their everyday lives behind at a moment's notice to investigate important UFO events. They even pay for their travel costs themselves. Today, Doctor is focused on uncovering the advanced technologies that exist in secret projects, many of which were inspired by geniuses like Nikola Tesla. He believes these innovations could significantly reduce poverty and help protect the environment within the next 15 to 20 years. He spends his time encouraging scientists, inventors, and leaders across different fields to support the development of eco-friendly energy solutions. Many see him as a key figure in moving society away from fossil fuels and toward a future powered by clean, sustainable technology. These technologies are groundbreaking and use completely different physics from what we're used to. For example, they involve electromagnetic systems operating at very high voltages, similar to Tesla's work from the early 1900s. Dr. Greer highlights innovations like zero-point energy, which could get rid of pollution and poverty, and electromagnetic gravitics, which could make fast space travel possible. He also talks about technology that uses human spiritual energy to achieve its goals. As we turn the page on these astounding revelations, the next chapter beckons us to explore how these hidden technologies could reshape our future interactions with the cosmos. The untold story of UFO technologies. Dr. Greer suggests that while extraterrestrial life and the funding used to cover up their existence are important topics, the real issue is the government's role in hiding these revolutionary technologies. He believes that governments worldwide, not just in the United States, have kept these advancements secret for decades because they threaten traditional energy industries. He argues that if these technologies were made public, they would completely change how we produce energy. Fossil fuels would no longer be necessary, solving many of the environmental and economic challenges we face today. According to a report by NPR Illinois, governments have a long history of withholding information about UFOs, and as a result, public trust in the government has been steadily declining for the past 75 years, ever since UFOs became a popular topic in the mid-20th century. Over time, as more sightings and reports have emerged, the government's response has been to stay silent, which has only fueled public curiosity and conspiracy theories. In 1993, Greer founded the Disclosure Project with the goal of collecting credible stories from military and government personnel who have encountered UFOs or are aware of these secret programs. By gathering these accounts, the Disclosure Project hopes to build a strong argument for government transparency and push for the release of classified information to the public. The Illinois article highlights the significance of the Disclosure Project in the broader context of the UFO debate. Stephen Greer's efforts have been pivotal in transitioning discussions about UFOs from the outskirts of conspiracy theory into mainstream consideration. This initiative has played a crucial role in elevating public awareness and promoting open discussions concerning the potential impacts of extraterrestrial contact, the suppression of advanced technologies, and UFO sightings. The article suggests that all organized institutions, be it religions, political parties, or social movements, often diverge from their original objectives as they evolve, sometimes adopting more radical positions. This dynamic is likened to the overall trajectory of the American experiment. Greer emphasizes the possibility of a deliberate concealment of technologies linked to UFO phenomena, arguing that the public revelation of these innovations, such as new energy systems and propulsion methods, could drastically alter human destiny. He proposes that the dissemination of these technologies might eventually lead to the elimination of fossil fuels, reduce pollution, and directly combat climate change. Furthermore, the article discusses the consequences of such technological suppression, highlighting concerns about hindered scientific advancement and increased global disparities. Those in positions of power, according to Greer, ensure these technologies remain undisclosed, perpetuating the current energy status quo where the wealthy continue to profit at the expense of the broader population. He also points out the recent surge in UFO activity and suggests it may be linked to the increased pace of development and testing of new technologies by government and private entities. He speculates that some UFO sightings could be attributed to human-made technologies rather than extraterrestrial crafts, raising questions about the true nature of these sightings and the reasons behind their disguise. The article also touches on the broader implications of such intensified activities in terms of global security. If the advancement of new technologies remains concealed, it could potentially lead to a new type of arms race with unforeseeable consequences for global stability. Greer's call for greater transparency in the discussion of UFOs and extraterrestrial intelligence underscores an urgent need for openness. He argues that the public deserves to know the truth about what occurs behind closed doors, asserting that revealing these technologies could significantly transform humanity. His plea for transparency aims not just to satisfy curiosity, but to address critical global challenges such as environmental degradation and economic inequality, promoting a new era of innovation, cooperation, and the pursuit of knowledge. It's clear that being open, as Stephen Greer emphasizes, is really important when talking about how the US government is now recognizing UFOs, which are now called unidentified aerial phenomena, UAPs. This subject has fascinated people around the world for decades, but it hasn't been fully accepted by official agencies or scientists. However, lately, there's been a noticeable change in how these sightings are handled and discussed. Greer, a well-known ethologist and writer, has often accused both the US and other world powers of keeping information about UFOs and aliens secret. According to him, this silence goes back to the middle of the 20th century when UFO sightings started increasing, catching the public's attention. Instead of being open, governments chose to keep the information quiet, which only added fuel to various conspiracy theories. He explains that while the government now admits these strange phenomena exist and should be studied, it still avoids talking about the bigger issues like the possibility of aliens being involved. According to Greer, this is a careful strategy to slowly prepare the public for the reality of UAPs without causing panic. But this isn't even the most concerning part. By changing the term from flying saucers to unidentified aerial phenomena, the government carefully controls the conversation, avoiding the more controversial parts of the UFO topic. This has broader consequences, including issues of national security and public safety. Greer also thinks that this recognition of UAPs might just be a way to justify spending more money on the military and creating new technologies. He worries that this could lead to the militarization of space and suspects that some of these UAP sightings might actually be advanced military technologies rather than alien spacecraft. With the stage set for a monumental shift, the following chapter examines what the future might hold if these suppressed technologies come to light. Government secrets and UFOs explained. This raises big questions about what these sightings really are and what the government's true intentions are in admitting to them. Dr. Greer highlights the role of the military-industrial complex in all of this, suggesting that there's a lot more going on behind the scenes than people realize. His insights provide a deeper look at the complicated connection between the government's disclosure and its own national interests, hinting at a much more complex set of reasons for the official recognition of these mysterious aerial events. Beliefs, according to him, are being hidden by those in power, especially by some of the largest defense companies that would lose a lot if things were to change. He insists that these companies are behind the development of new technologies, some of which may come from studying UFOs that have been recovered. He strongly believes in what he calls a shadow government, an unseen group that controls and influences decisions in the United States without any official authority. This hidden group, he argues, keeps the most important details about UFO technology secret to make sure these advances don't shake up the current balance of power and economy. He believes that this secrecy must end. He calls for full transparency, arguing that the knowledge being kept from the public could change society for the better. He thinks that revealing these unpredictable technologies could help solve big global problems like climate change and poverty. But he also knows there are powerful interests that don't want this information revealed. That's why he encourages activists, scholars, and everyday people to push for change and get this knowledge out in the open. But even with recent acknowledgments from the US government about UFOs, he is still cautious. He sees these as possible signs of a shift toward openness but remains unsure of their true intentions. He believes the public should continue to demand more clarity, not just from the US, but also from other powerful countries that may know more about UFOs and aliens. While the government has started admitting some things, this has only raised more questions about what's still being kept hidden. His ultimate goal is to uncover the complete truth, no matter how difficult that journey might be. In a conversation on the London Real podcast, he talked more about his lifelong search for the truth and the global importance of discussing the possibility of contact with extraterrestrials. He's deeply interested in how alien technology could completely change life on Earth. The podcast also touched on how people's views on UFOs are changing, both in public opinion and among officials. Recently, the government has acknowledged that UFOs exist and that they should be taken seriously, but he believes that many UFO sightings might actually be advanced technologies developed secretly by governments or private companies. These technologies, he says, are the result of long-term research funded by secret budgets, keeping them hidden from the public. But here's where the plot thickens. The true potential of these hidden technologies might be far more profound than anyone dares to imagine. He hints that if the veil of secrecy were lifted, it could shatter our current understanding of reality. The ripple effects would reach beyond our energy systems, challenging everything from the way we envision the future of human civilization to our very perception of humanity's role in the universe. The revelations could alter the course of history, forever reshaping our place in the cosmic order. Venture into the depths of a game-changing discovery: zero-point energy. This elusive force, if harnessed, has the potential to revolutionize our world as we know it. With its seemingly infinite supply, zero-point energy could be the key to solving the global energy crisis, providing a clean, renewable source that drastically reduces environmental damage. Even more, it could play a pivotal role in bridging the gap between wealthy and developing nations, leveling the playing field in ways previously unimaginable. He also believes that aliens have been visiting Earth for thousands of years and have had a big impact on human history, even though we're only just realizing it now. Unlike how they're often shown in movies, he says these beings are not evil. Instead, they care about our planet and what happens to it. He shares stories of people, including himself, who have had encounters with aliens. These interactions often happen through telepathy and higher levels of consciousness. The aliens he talks about are much more advanced in both technology and spirituality than we are. He is convinced that peaceful and open communication with these beings could lead to a new era of global cooperation and enlightenment. In the final part of the podcast, he pushes for more openness and collaboration across the world to solve the mysteries surrounding UFOs and alien technology. He believes it's crucial to stop keeping these secrets, saying people have the right to know the truth and our future depends on embracing these new technologies. But that's not even the most important part. As he calls for transparency and working together, he encourages listeners to take part in the search for truth. He wants everyone to imagine a world changed by the technology and wisdom of these advanced civilizations. The podcast isn't just a discussion, it's also a call to action. Whether you believe in these ideas or not, he urges everyone to get involved, look for the truth, and dream of a future where humanity and aliens work together in peace and understanding. What do you think? Are the world governments hiding advanced technologies from the public for sinister reasons? Or are these claims just conspiracy theories? Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.